What's up, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. I hope you guys are doing well out there on this beautiful smoky Thursday. I'm doing real good myself. Shout out to the sister, the Awakened One, for sending me this particular story right here. Okay, just the other day in the one of my videos, I asked, did you guys notice that the skies was pretty smoky? And to let me know in the comment section. Apparently, it was, and it still is, you understand? And I knew it was something nefarious to it when I saw it, you understand? Because it says here, smoke from Canada wildfires is increasing health risk in black and poor U.S. communities. Smoky air from Canada's wildfires is shrouding broad swaths of the U.S. from Minnesota to New York and Kentucky, okay? And here's a little picture of that right there. See, you understand? Look at that. And I can tell you, now it seemed like it's starting to subside a bit where I am in Fort Wayne, Indiana here, from yesterday and the day before that. But nevertheless, this right here is something going on. Okay, I just don't buy that, smoke would be all over the place like this, and unless there's something nefarious about it. You understand? Let's get into this article right here. So we can't trust these devils, man. I'm telling you. Detroit AP, smoky air from Canada's wildfires shrouded broad swaths of the U.S. from Minnesota to New York and Kentucky on Wednesday, prompting warnings to stay inside and exuberating health risk for people already suffering from industrial pollution. The impacts are particularly hard on poor and minority communities that are more likely to live near pollution plants and have higher risk or higher rates of asthma. Detroit, a mostly black city from a poverty rate of about 30%, has some of the worst air quality in the U.S. On Wednesday, prompting the Environmental Protection Agency to warn that everyone should stay indoors. Okay, and I'm sure, we should stay indoors because y'all poison polluting the air. You understand? And I'm wondering if it's just from the Canada wildfires. You understand? Let's continue. The more breaths you're taking, you're inhaling literally a fire, camp smoke into your lungs, said Darren Riley, who was diagnosed with asthma in 2018, a few years after arriving in Detroit. Okay. And the thing about it, it's just not that, because it's been like this probably for maybe a couple years now. People tend to have more like bronchitis, problems with coughing or breathing or what have you. See, here lately within the last 2 to 3 years. See, so this is why, I tend to believe that something is going on. And then I seen a couple TikTok videos, where it was basically showing videos of them actually, from what it appeared to be, they were actually setting those wildfires. Okay, let's continue. Many communities face this way too often, said Riley, who is black. And while this wildfire smoke allows, unfortunately, many people to feel this burden, this is a burden that far too long communities have faced day in and day out. The EPA's airnow.gov site shows cities including Chicago, Detroit, Indianapolis, and Cleveland, Ohio, had very unhealthy air as of Wednesday afternoon. A wider circle of unhealthy air spread into Pittsburgh, St. Louis, and Louisville, Kentucky. Okay. Earlier this month, smoke from the wildfires blanketed the U.S. East Coast for days. Okay. Another round of drifting smoke from the wildfires was moving through western Pennsylvania and central New York and headed toward the mid-Atlantic, said National Weather Service meteorologist Brian Jackson. In Canada, smoke will migrate across Quebec and Ontario over the next few days. Environment and Climate Change Canada meteorologist Stephen Flish said. I know I fucked that name up, but okay. Anyway, in the U.S., the smoke is exuberating. Air quality issues for poor and black communities that already are more likely to live near polluting plants and in rental housing with mold and other triggers. Detroit's southwest side is home to a number of sprawling refineries and manufacturing plants. It is one of the poorest parts of the city, according to a 2022 report by the American Lung Association. The city and short-term particle pollution ranked among the worst in the nation. And well, that's by no coincidence, you know what I mean? Y'all gonna sit up there and set these particular things, the conditions to be like this and then talk about it. You understand? Let's continue. Being close to the refineries, that's an environmental factor that's difficult to control, said Dr. Ruma Srivastava, a pediatric pulmonologist at Children's Hospital in Michigan, in Detroit. It does increase their risk for asthma flare-ups. For them, it's even more important to follow the air quality safety recommendations. Riley's own experiences prompted him to start Just Air, which provides air pollution monitoring. Just before you're born in a certain zip code, or you're born into a certain family with a certain skin color, doesn't mean that you should have an unequal go at it. He said. They know what this is, man. We target it. We already know that. This just goes along with part of the curses. We understand these things, okay? So, there's no mystery to it anymore. The Most High has already took the mystery out of why we are undergoing the things that we are in to this day. Let's continue. Elsewhere, Milwaukee County Emergency Medical Services has seen a spike in calls for residents with respiratory complaints. The Milwaukee Journal Sentinel reported. Office of Emergency Management data show a disproportionate amount of calls for respiratory issues. 54.8% have been for black people in Milwaukee, according to the newspaper. Milwaukee County's population is 27.1% black. In Chicago, we're about 29% of the population is black. Mayor Brandon Johnson urged young people, older adults, and residents with health issues to spend more time indoors. He pledged swift action to ensure the vulnerable individuals have the resources they need to protect themselves and their families. President Joe Biden visited the nation's third largest city on Wednesday to promote his renewable energy policies. Biden has described the Canadian wildfires as clear evidence of climate change. Yeah. Yeah, okay, climate change. Minnesota issues a record 23rd air quality alert for the year through late Wednesday night as smoky skies obscured the skyline of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Indiana were among other states issuing air quality alerts, and cities including Louisville also advised people to limit prolonged or intense outdoor activity. Okay, so look, we can look to see people having problems when this smoke actually clears. You understand? It takes a while before we start to see the results of the damage that has been done. Like with the other situation that they've, forced on a lot of people. Let's continue. This is particularly thick smoke. Jackson with the National Weather Service said a record 30,000 square mile, 80,000 square mile kilometers of Canada has burned, an area nearly as large as South Carolina, according to the Canadian government. As long as the fires are burning and the smoke is in the atmosphere, it is going to be a concern, not just for Canadians, but Americans as well. Flish Feder the Canadian meteorologist said. The small particles in wildfire smoke can irritate the eyes, nose, and throat, and can affect the heart and lungs, making it harder to breathe. Health officials say it's important to limit outdoor activities to avoid breathing in the particles. The warming planet will produce hotter and longer heat waves, making for bigger, smokier fires, said Joel Thornton, professor and chair of the Department of Atmospheric Science at the University of Washington. Quentin Hernandez, a 24-year-old event planner from Detroit, was out skateboarding for about an hour Wednesday at a skate park near the Ambassador Bridge, which connects the city to Windsor, Ontario. He said, it just sits like this all day, said Hernandez, saying that it smells like being at a barbecue, literally. The smoke just sits in the air, okay? Well, barbecue smoke smells better than this mess right here. So, I don't know what he's talking about with that. Now here it says the Associated Press includes Trisha Ahmed and Steve Karnowski in Minneapolis, Ken Kishmer in Indianapolis, Rebecca Reynolds in Louisville, Kentucky, and Julie Walker in New York. Okay, and that concludes the story about this smoke. Okay, so here it is, people. Look, we are under attack, and that's just all there is to it. That's just what it is. I'm just gonna put it like that because I seen those videos. And I saw what was going on in those videos with the copters and all that kind of stuff over the forest. You understand? Looks like this thing was one of those setup like type things. I'm gonna just say it like that, Won't be long before we be needing those kind of whatever those, those masks we see people in those movies where they like being bombed or something like that, and they have to put those masks on their face. Probably have to use one of them eventually, because like I said, man, hey, this devil is up to no good as usual, but this is what he's going to do. He's going to do it till death. What we need to do is pray to the Most High for him to bless us and shelter us and save us, so that we may endure what this devil do until he is put to death. Basically, that's what it all boils down to. That's all I got on this one, people. I want you guys to tell me what you think about this particular situation. I am interested in hearing your views of it, thoughts, what have you, in the comment section. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. People, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched, simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.